Oh my god, can you see this? You see the bearing? Alright guys, welcome back to another episode. We're gonna continue working on the 2008 Honda Pilot. This time we're gonna do the strut on the passenger side. You can see how once you see oil getting out of the strut, you know it's on its way bad, or it's already bad, so you gotta change it. The spring is okay. I don't see any cracks, it's just a little bit rusty, but that's just fine. Might just spray it. But yeah, so I already ordered the strut, I already ordered the mount. I'm gonna show it to you. The first thing you want to do is jack up the car. I already did that. I don't think you need to see that. Jack it safely on jack stands and start by removing the wheel. I already went ahead and removed all the lug nuts. Keep them somewhere safe so you don't lose it. What's up? Good morning. So we're gonna pretty much spray every single nut and bolt with rust penetrant. I'm using WD-40. Just you can find it at any local parts store. You don't need much, especially this one. The one that is gonna give hard time is the sway link bar. Let me show you. It's always a pain in the butt to get these out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna soak them in WD-40, as you can see, and the other side as well. Because yeah, something else I need to tell you, that I'm gonna be changing this, so I don't need to take it off from here. I'm just being stupid here. Sprayed the nut, but I don't really need to remove it, because I will remove the entire assembly with it and probably remove it after. So but the one you need to remove is the other one that it's connected to the control arm, the sway bar, sorry. The other two bolts that you need to remove is the brake line hose here. There is a small, like this is 12 mil, so I'm also gonna give it a quick shower of WD-40 just to make sure it's, usually they are rusty. And one more bolt, it's actually hidden here. You probably don't see it, it's here. This is actually the ABS harness bolt, so I'm also gonna remove this. The bolt is actually on the other side, but here we can actually spray the nut. And on the other side, this is a 10 mil. So yeah, that we should let it soak in, let it do its job. Until it does its job, I want to show you the 3 bolts on the top that you need to remove. So this strut here is held by 2 big bolts here and 3 nuts on the top. I'm gonna show you right now. Alright, so these are the 3 ports that you should remove, and to get access to the 3 nuts, it's easy. You have 2 options. You either remove the cowl, lift it up, which actually risk breaking some clips. It's held by clips. Or if you see here, there is a small flat groove here. All what you need is to get a flathead screwdriver and gently insert it here and pry. You see, it's easy. You repeat the same thing, just find where the groove is, like here. This one is here. Oh, this one was easy. And the third one here. Make sure you don't lose these 3 covers, so I'm gonna place them somewhere. So here are the 3 nuts that you will need to remove. Let me get a flashlight here and start. Not sure if you will be able to see that, but I'll do my best. Okay, well, it's it's really hard to get access here, so I'll show you when I remove the um, the strut. I'll show you where they are exactly. Inserting the socket on the bolt is better. It's probably a good idea to remove all this piece of rust so it doesn't really lock it. Although I'm sure this bolt is usually rusted and the head is rounded, so I'm gonna give it a try. Never lose. Now I don't think I'm gonna be placing the same bolt, but it's really rusty, or maybe put anti-seize here and so it doesn't get stuck like this before, like again. All right, so we are advancing well, so good. So next bolt I'm gonna be removing is the sway bar link. It's kind of difficult to get the angle, but here it's also a good idea to start to use a wire brush like this and remove all the rust. Since I'm gonna be removing this link anyway, so I don't even need to remove the end attached to the strut, only the one with the sway bar, and the new link comes with the nut, so we don't need to use this rusty nut anymore. Give it a clean. Alright, just a quick update about the sway bar link here. I had no choice but to cut it. I'm gonna show you the other part. I had to cut it, so it was really stuck. The back nut was, the locking nut was rounded. I really had no choice but to use the cutting wheel and cut it. So hopefully you have a better luck than me, and you should be able to get it off without using a cutter, cutting wheel and grinder. Let us move on. So the next one is gonna be the ABS sensor, the harness bolt. Actually the bolt is on the other side here, so gonna hard to get. I think you got it. It's 10 mil, should be easy, crossing our finger. So let me get to it. that was easy. That's actually, hopefully, we made a wise decision when I added lots of rust penetrant. It certainly paid off here. So we had good luck on the brake line bolt. We're having good luck with the ABS sensor bolt. That's usually also a pain. The only bad luck was really the sway bar link nut, and that's a very common. And you can see here is the bolt. I'm actually surprised that this one was easy. Usually it's not easy. Usually it's rust. So let me put it on the side. Alright, so now we have everything attached to the strut is already disconnected, but the only thing that is holding it is the two big bolts here and the three on the top. So just start by loosening these two. These two are really tight, so you probably need a breaker bar, and oh, this is small breaker bar because for some reason I don't find my long breaker bar, and I'm adding an extension, so it should be good. Technically it should be good. I do see lots of rust already, so I'm gonna be cleaning it. When we place, if you have access to new nut, then it's good. If not, try to clean it really well from the rust. And reuse them. Put anti-seize and reuse them. By the way, these are the bolt and the nut are 22 mil, so it's a big. What I would do is just with a mallet, give it a tap. You fix it in place and push down. Oh, that one's not bad compared to the other ones. Now I actually might go here. That's good. So just break it loose, don't take it off all the way because you need to add a wrench here. Again, 22 mil wrench on the bolt head so it doesn't turn. I'm gonna show you the nut. The nut is really rusty. Okay. Now since it's I'm gonna switch to the bottom one. I don't think you can see this, but there is another one exactly the same as this one, so I will remove them. I will remove it. Just be careful the brake hose. This one is getting loose too. Well, since it's getting loose and no issue, then I can switch to the ratchet. You probably still need to get the extension on the ratchet, but I don't think it's. Let me try without the extension. Oh, I'm tightening, so that's what we don't want. Yeah, see here, this wrench is holding the head of the bolt so it doesn't turn with the nut, and just the ratchet is enough to get the nut all the way out. Still hard to turn by hand, but I think it's out already. Here is the nut. You can see how rusty it is, but from inside it's not bad, so I might just clean it, give it a quick clean with the wire brush and some solvent, and actually reuse it. Let me save it on the side. Do the same thing for the bottom bolt and nut. So I'm gonna use, since it's already broken here, I'm gonna use just the ratchet. If the bolt turns with it, just hold the wrench with your hand. Now I don't have to. The nut is actually going out easily. Again, be careful the brake line hose. Make sure you don't crack it or pull it. This is the second one. Again, same story. It's clean from inside, so what I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna clean it well and reuse it. We don't need this wrench here. We'll need it when we install the new strut, but as far as now, we don't need it. Now, next, what we want to do is, as you can see here, I already have some kind of small jack. This jack is loose, so what we want to do is we want to tighten it so it lifts up a little bit and loosens the tension on the bolts so I can get them out. Forgot to mention that there are still 3 nuts on the top, so that we need to remove. So before we remove this bolts completely, we're gonna have to remove the upper 3 nuts. But here I'm just doing a small support to the entire assembly here by turning the scissor jack, so it takes the tension of the bolt. Now what we want to do is we want to hit the bolt from here with a hammer, here. So as you can see, it's getting off. Man, see how rusty it is. Take it off just 1 second. Look at this. I'm certainly not reusing them. I'm probably gonna run to the scrap. Alright, so actually had to take a small pause and I'm back now. So we left up with we removed this bolt from here. The second step is to remove this bolt, but be careful because during the break I actually removed the 3 nuts from the top. That was really hard to get a shot. It's not hard to remove them. You can see here there are 14. One small tip here is to use, it's a 14 mil, the original ones. I don't think the new ones maybe like 15 or 16. Make sure to use a long socket like this. The shorter one will actually get stuck in the stud. The stud sticking out of this nut, so make sure to use a long socket 14, and that's it. And they should be easy to take off. Some patient and make sure you don't drop them in the engine bay. Yeah, that's it. So let me. Now I think it's time to remove this bolt. How we want to tackle is actually, since the hose, the brake line hose here in the way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some kind of like a socket or extension so I can hit on it. Oh, as you can see, it started moving, so the whole assembly started moving, which means I need to adjust the support. I'll be back. So beside the support that I added in under here, I actually added some kind of like a bungee cord, or you can use a rope or some kind of like a plastic wrap or zip tie, whatever you want to use, just to keep the rotor and the caliper in place, because once you remove the bolt, this is gonna get loose and you don't want to put too much stress on the axle shaft. So something like this here all the way, it should hold very well. Now, so we are ready to remove the bolt. 1 second, place the camera somewhere. So you guys can see, I'm gonna be hitting on the Once it's loose, the strut is gonna fall down on the axle shaft. So what you wanna do is, you wanna hold it. Probably you need to turn the bolt. It doesn't hurt to push it with your assembly with your leg. It's gonna help. Probably need to hit it more with something like a screwdriver on this side here, and hit on the head of the screwdriver. Watch out your hand because it might fall, and actually be careful. I think it should be okay now. Sorry for that lighting, I'm actually working outside today. The garage is full of stuff, so now the bolt is out. I'm holding the strut, don't let it go. What you want to do, get a screwdriver or pry bar and gently pry here, because it might be stuck in the knuckle here. Get these wires out of the way again. Oh, as you saw, it dropped likely. Now I think it's time to lower the support that I added here, so you have enough room for the strut to go down. The good thing is we added the bungee cord, so now see, it's loose, totally loose. We added the bungee cord to protect it. Now just wiggle it carefully and be careful. Don't drop it on the harness. See, now I see that it got caught. The harness is in between, so try to clear the path, especially with the link here. Just remove the hose, remove the wiring harness, and it should come right off like that. It's heavy, so make sure you manhandle it. If you need help, call a buddy or someone. I'm gonna actually put it under here so you can see it. So here is the strut, the entire assembly. I also want to show you the 3 nuts on the top here. You see the 3 studs, and the 3 nuts were here. You see how this stud is longer than the normal socket, so that's why I mentioned earlier that you need the deep socket. But it's easily, there is nothing difficult, just you need to get access to the nuts and loosen them. They are not tight anyway, so, well, they are tight enough, but not super tight, not rusty. So it was easy. As you can see, the spring is in decent condition. Only surface rust. I'm gonna probably be cleaning this and spraying it with some rust color, black color, just for it to look nice, but I think it's in decent condition. This side is bad. Yeah, I'm gonna be reusing it, so stay tuned. I'm gonna use a tool to compress the spring and take it off. Few things that we're gonna be removing or transferring: the spring, also the dust boot. So if you're replacing, the new one doesn't come with one, so we'll have to reuse this if it's in good condition, of course. If not, we'll have to buy one, but I think it's in good condition. There is no tears or it's just dust that's to be transferred. So let me show you the tool that I have to there is a special tool to compress. I also want to mention that at this stage, at this point, you have two options. You either take the assembly and go to the mechanic shop and just have him compress this spring. If you don't feel confident compressing it with the aftermarket tool, just go to any garage shop, and they should be able to compress it for you and install the new one. They will be charging, of course, some labor, but it's really nothing compared to removing the whole thing. So you actually saved a lot of money by just removing the strut. What they have to do is just compress this one, remove the strut, and insert a new one, insert the new mounts, and that's it. We're gonna do it here. So if you want to use the tool, then follow up with me. If not, you can just take the whole assembly to the mechanic shop and have them do it for you. So let me grab the tool. I will show you right now. So as you can see, these are the tools. It's just one tool, but it's twice. So you can see here there are hooks here and on the other side as well. So to compress. So let me set it up and I will show you. Alright guys, as you can see, the spring is compressed, and I'm not sure about the tool, honestly. It doesn't compress like enough, so it gets out of the mount here. On this side I didn't want to go all the way. As you can see, it's twisted like really good. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this tool, if it's safe to work on like after multiple times. I don't know. I'm gonna use it for this time, but you can see how curved it is. Like if it snaps off, then this is gonna go like shooting in the face or the leg, or I don't know, and that's very dangerous. So for now, let me keep going here. So what you want to do is on the top here there is a nut. The new strut has the new nut, so we don't have to use it. It's 17 mil, and actually I'm gonna be using the impact, because if we turn it, the strut itself is gonna turn. So I have to use a kind of like an electric impact driver here. So let me set up the camera. As you can see here, just turn it like that. Hopefully you can see. So now I wanted to put my hand to hold it, but it's dangerous. If the spring goes back or forth, your hand actually can break your hand. So I don't know what I'm gonna do now. If it has some resistance, then the spring is not compressed enough. Wow, as you can see, it's actually, the spring is compressed enough because it didn't jump. Oh my god, can you see this? You see the bearing? You see how bad that was? This bearing should be sealed. I don't know, this is not. You see the bearing balls? Oh my goodness, that's that's why we had such a rough ride, because these bearings, I'm gonna show you the new one versus the old one. Look at the bearing. This is the bearing here. Should turn smoothly. I mean, you can't see, but probably you can hear how smooth that is. But having the bearing balls like this, that's certainly shouldn't be like that. Anyway, we got it off. Thanks. We have this a whole new mount, as you can see. This is the self-locking nut. I'm gonna keep it on the side here. So So let me continue and remove the strut and also the plate. So as you can see, few things that we need to transfer. So let me get the spring out of the way. It doesn't by any mistake shoot in the face. We're going to be transferring this, of course, where we need to clean it and add some grease. This one is stuck. Oh, dust boot is actually clean. It's nice. No tear and wear. It's clean, so we're gonna have to use this one as well. Yeah, something else that we need to use. See, on the mount here, on the back, that's where the spring rests. So we need to reuse these three things. And here's the, actually it's seized. Oh. You see, it doesn't return. That's a sign of a bad strut. If it returns like super slow like this, or it doesn't return correctly, that's a bad one. That has to be replaced. I mean, you can see how bad that is, right? If I compress it again, look, let me see if it doesn't go all the way back. That is certainly bad. We don't want that. And by the way, we are keeping this this mount. I forgot to say, this plate we're gonna keep it. Except I'm gonna remove this other end of the bearing. Not sure how. I should take it off to get the new one in. Yeah, they took it off. You see, garbage. So I'm gonna get a wire brush and clean pretty much everywhere, so when the new bearings sit, it sits well and even around here, and also on the other side, since it goes, see, I'm gonna be removing all the rust and put some grease on it. So let me grab the tools, I'll be back. Alright, so as you can see, I have a small rotatory tool with wire brush. It's not the best or the highest quality one, but at least it's good. Make sure to have eye protection and also a mask, so all the dust doesn't get on you don't breathe all the dust here. So let me get the camera adjusted. So alright, so after a couple of tries, I managed to get to mount the spring on the new strut, and also use the new mount. As you can see, all the studs have been thread lock applied to. It's a medium strength blue thread locker, so it prevents it from loosening in case of vibration. Also, as you can see, very important to apply anti-seize on the two big bolts that connects the strut to the knuckle here. It's very important to apply anti-seize so it doesn't rust, and we're gonna apply also medium strength the thread locker on the threads. So I'm gonna get the camera set up and start mounting the assembly. Right, so that was a lot of wiggling, a lot of back and forth, but finally I got it mounted. You just gotta be patient and follow the three studs align the three studs with the three holes on the top. That was quite good, 10-15 minutes of wiggling. So finally I got it right. Always have this bolt handy, so you actually secure it with this bolt. I'm getting the second one aligned as well. So again, another wiggling. So I'm gonna go get the thread locker. I'll apply it. So hand tighten both nuts. I actually just realized one stupid mistake I made is the head of the bolt should be on this side. So I'm not removing this mistake from the video. I'm actually keeping it, so you'll learn from it. Always remember how it was placed. Same thing from, don't remove both at the same time, otherwise you will just lose the whole thing and you have to redo it. Just one at a time. Align it, hand tighten the nut, same thing. You need to give it small hits with the hammer. Don't hesitate to do that. Yeah, so get yourself something to tap it on the head. Not much, just enough to get it hand tighten. That's it. The second one. Well, it started to turn, so I'm gonna stop here. For the top, three nuts, I'm actually gonna show you a trick here, because you will have to insert the nut like this. It's gonna fall. So a trick here is to use a tape, masking tape, scotch tape, duct tape, whatever you want, just to keep it fixed like this, so it doesn't fall when you lower it. And hand tighten first by hand. It's very important to hand tighten by hand. Don't use the ratchet at the beginning. You just tighten all the three by hand. I'm gonna do that. It's really hard to show you because it's a really small place. So, but I'm gonna tighten all of them by hand. All right. So now that we have everything, well, we are still missing the sway bar link here and down, but we wanna torque down the strut bolts, the two big bolts here, and also the three nuts on the top. So in order to do that, we actually have to lift up this corner and put all the weight of the car on this side. I'm gonna show you right now what I mean. All right, so to do that, I actually got my floor jack. I'm gonna be removing this support. We don't need anymore. Just gonna use this floor jack, and as usual, I like to place some kind of like a rubber separator here so we don't scratch the metal to metal. And you can place it right under the rotor. Until you feel all the weight is on the strut. the head of the bolt and the ratchet to tighten the actually gonna tighten the lower one first. Just hand tighten. Now we'll go back to the top one. Now we're gonna torque it. This one gets torqued to 116. I'm not really responsible for this. I got it from the internet, so I will just use it. Again, we'll keep the get yourself good leverage here because it's really tight. That's good. We hear the click twice. Now we switch to the lower one to torque it down. Might need to add an extension here. That's it. We heard it twice. That's good. So now these two are torqued. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna torque the 3 nuts on top here. Again, this part I cannot really show because it's pretty dark inside here. I don't have the flashlight here, so I'll do it and come back. Alright, so now we have everything torqued down, the 2 big bolts for the strut here and the 3 nuts on the top. Now it's time for the ABS sensor wire harness and also the brake hose. So I'm gonna start with the ABS wire harness. It's 10 mil. So let me get this camera here. That's good. It's just tight enough so it doesn't get loose. That's good. Now we're done with the wire harness. We get to the brake line. This one was 13 mil. Let me get this on ratchet. I'll be back. Sorry, this one was 12 mil. I confused. So 12 mil socket in a ratchet, and just keep. You want it snug, tight enough. You don't have to kill it. That's it. It's good. It's not going anywhere, so we're good to go for this. All right. So now it's time to tighten the sway bar link. I already put one end in the sway bar. Sorry, the sway bar link. This is 17, so might need to get a 17. It's very important also to get a hex Allen key. You see where the sway bar is? Need to put the Allen key like this to fix the stud from turning when we turn this. I'm gonna show you step by step how to do it on this side, because on the other side it's really tough to get on the camera. It's a good idea if you have the ratcheting wrench. It's gonna save you a lot of time. Don't tighten it all the way, because we need to be able to move it and get it in the strut here. So that's enough for the bottom. When we tighten the top, now we go to the bottom and tighten it and torque it. We should torque both ends. As you can see here, it's really hard to get it in the bracket directly. So one trick to do that is to keep the jack under the assembly and lift it up a little bit until it's at the same level. So yeah, a little bit more should bring it perfectly on the same level. Yep, that's good. Oh. What I actually meant is to get the hex and insert it. Actually might insert it like this, so we get some kind of like support. Yeah, you insert it like this, you get your wrench, or in this case I have a ratcheting wrench, so I'm gonna use it. And start tightening. At a certain point the ratcheting wrench is not gonna pass because there is bracket here, so this one is 19. We'll just keep turning. Well, I need two hands, one hand to support and one to do, so I think you got the idea. bottom one. And that's it. We torqued everything. So we are almost done. One last step, as you can see. Here it's torqued very well. Nice, new. Bottom one as well. Everything is torqued. Double checked all these connections. Make sure nothing is loose. Make sure the whole thing is in good condition. Now we're gonna lower the assembly here. We don't need to have it lifted anymore. So as you can see, one last thing before we put the wheel. You see this brake caliper? Our hand, like at least my hand, was full of grease, was dirty, and I touched. This shouldn't be, so I'm gonna go grab some brake cleaner and clean it. Right, so got the brake cleaner. Gotta just spray it everywhere because our hand. And don't forget the back as well. Come on, get as much as you can. We'll wipe it down. Right. Make sure you have a paper towel in hand. Wipe it everywhere. You might have touched it. Clean rotor is important for braking. You see how dirty this became, so it was really an important step. Try to get the back as well, especially the top part, because that's where we had to work. So now I'm gonna go ahead and install the and put on the wheel. Alright, so we're ready to put the wheel back. Make sure it's well seated here. And the lug nuts. For this, actually, I'm gonna use the electric impact. That's it. Now I'm gonna lower the car and test drive it. Alright, so one important thing here, you see when we try to remove the 3 nuts from the for the strut here, don't forget to add these clips here, covers. There are 3 covers, one for each hole here, and there is a notch here that should go align it with this notch, so should also hear the click. If you don't hear the click, it means it's not well installed. That's correct. That's it. So job well done. I'm gonna go test drive it, but I think everything went well. Everything is, so I have two new struts and strut mounts on the car. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. I hope it encourages you to work on your own car. As you see, not really impossible. Some challenges here and there, but at the end everything is solvable. Everything can be solved. So I hope you enjoyed it again, and thanks for watching. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you, and have a good one.